All right, welcome back to another phenomenal episode. Today we are joined by Christopher Shaw out of Eagle Power at Southern. He's one of our most well-known guests to us. You know, he's coached by Avery. We talk to him all the time. Nice and easy pod for us to do, nice and relaxed. Just like another day phone call for us. But hope you can listen to the end. Hope you enjoy what he has to say. And welcome to Podium Talk. Welcome back to the greatest episode you'll ever see. Today we're joined by Christopher Shaw. Before we get into that, let's do some training recaps. Tony?
Hey man, didn't think about this at all. So pretty good. This week's been good. 3 days in so far, haven't had a bad session, so pretty good. Honestly, it's just week two.
Valid.
Yep,
Down to
that's
the,
it.
the the new guy in the pod. Avery, how you been? Been a minute.
Yeah, training's going, man. I haven't failed anything. It's not like great or anything, but I did not fail a squat. Other than that, not hitting any PRs or anything. But
Indeed. And now to someone who does fail his squats, Chris, how you been? You been failing your squats?
I actually haven't felt a squat in
like 3 weeks. No, I'm playing.
no, I didn't. I haven't felt a squat since, man.
I was just joking.
A week out from Bro Battle, that 352, or where the 2 weeks, but I mean it's
That 4-on-4.
the 404, I mean. No, I mean it's been good. No complaints. The block's approaching an end soon, so hoping to put up some big redacted numbers. Yeah. Still got my pause squats after this, so maybe I'll have some more information later.
Yeah, and you deal with
Yeah,
issues.
that's the only reason I regret holding y'all so long. I did not even think about Chris still training after
Yeah,
this.
you go get the LWU at 11 p.m.
Bro, you should not be that
No,
late. You could be out of there by 10 for sure. Anyway, I know
it's
you deal with
8:12.
it's fine. He's a little guy. You don't have to go up that much. He just does some arm swings. He's
Okay.
in there. That's about it, right?
I swear it doesn't take that long to warm up for me.
Factual. This is gonna be like the worst pod for everyone to listen to because we're just gonna be vibing it out. But for me, training's been pretty normal. We came in a little fatigued in the early week. Pulled something today, fine, whatever. We'll see if we can actually make through a week 4 next week and be solid. But let's get into it, Chrissy. Introduce yourself. Who are you?
What's this, like, name, major, fun facts?
Anything about
Nope.
yourself that you find interesting, I guess.
Oh well, this will be quick. No, I'm Chris. I'm a graduate student here at Georgia Southern University. I'm currently pursuing my MBA. Field I work in is campus recreation, so I work within rec centers, gyms. Yeah, I'm the treasurer of Eagle Power, the powerlifting club here at Georgia Southern. Yeah, 60 kg lifter. Competing at collegiate nationals here in, what are we, like 6 weeks out? I think 6 weeks out to the day, actually. So it's coming up quick. Yeah.
Something like that. Where'd you go to
Yeah.
school? Where are you from?
I'm from Savannah, Georgia. I did my undergraduate degree here at Georgia Southern. I got a bachelor's in business management, and we're gonna be a double eagle. That's what they call themselves. People that get their undergraduate and graduate degree from Georgia Southern are a part of an elite double eagle club. They make a huge deal about it at commencement and stuff. But yeah, yeah. So Georgia Southern Statesboro was where I got my bachelor's degree, and then I'm currently getting my master's degree at Georgia Southern in Savannah, but I still live in Statesboro. So Savannah, Statesboro, basically my whole life.
Valid. And then you did go, well, I guess we can dive right into this. Throughout high school, what kind of sports you play? What kind of competitions you go to?
Yeah, I was a wrestler in high school. It all started out, really I wanted to play football. But when you have a 5'3", like 84-pound kid walking up to the football coach and you're telling him you want to play football, he's like, "Yeah, man, wrestling tryouts for like next week." Like they don't even didn't even give me a time of day. But I was actually, even then I was too small to wrestle. The lowest weight class in wrestling is 106. or in high school at the time. I think they fluctuated weight classes since. The lowest weight class is 106. I know like New York it's like a 99. I would have fit into there, but yeah, so I was too small to wrestle, so I didn't wrestle. Second year was almost the same thing. I think I was like 90 pounds, but they had like a state placer or something at my weight class, so I just didn't even bother wrestling then either. Um, I didn't try. And then junior, senior year was when I finally started wrestling. Worked my ass off. Got okay at wrestling. Went to the state tournament my senior year. I had like a 30-10 record. So nothing to shake a stick at, but nothing that was like, I was in there just getting worked every match. Had a really good grade. So I went to Truett McConnell University for a year. I was on the wrestling team up there, and it was a blast. I mean, think of um think of like high school mindset, but you were in essentially a frat house with a bunch of wrestlers because our whole dorm was just wrestlers on the upstairs, and it was like 3 a.m. You'd walk out of your room and people would be like wrestling in the hallway and stuff because we were in the North Georgia mountains. There was actually nothing to do up there other than play video games and wrestle each other. But yeah, that's where my athletic background starts is wrestling. Um, my buddy Kendrick Kohler actually got me into working out. After wrestling, he would always come and beat on my door when I was taking a nap. And would drag me to our workout center. It was called the SWC, the Student Wellness Center. He'd always drag me there. We'd work out together. They had like 2 squat racks in there, a bunch of bumper plates and stuff. Yeah, and that was where my passion of working out started because I never worked out in high school because I was a super technical wrestler, so I was never trying to be strong. I was like a Ben Askren, if you guys watch MMA. Wasn't really a strong guy, but he was super technical. So yeah, and then got to college, and when you're wrestling fifth year seniors that are 5'4", 145 pounds that are all jacked up, and you're just 110-pound kid trying to wrestle grown men, it sucks. So we started working out, fell in love with it, and then slowly started just working out, and then I met Tony. Right, actually, yeah, I met Tony, and he was like the first guy I knew that was like really powerlifting. Or actually, the first person that got me into powerlifting was Justin Odom from Team BAM. He didn't get me into it, but he like put the idea on my plate where he was like, "Hey man, have you ever thought about powerlifting before?"
I
'Cause
thought you were gonna say I thought you were gonna say CJ.
no, it's actually Justin Odom first. Yeah, he tried to get me to power lift. He didn't like try to get me to power lift. He was like, "Come on, man, come power lift." He was just like, "Have you ever thought about it?" And I was like, "Nah, bro, I'm too little, or whatever." And then he talked about Tony. He was like, "Bro, there's like this kid that's like 165 pounds in states, bro, that pulled like almost 600."
You know, there's little ass kid Tony Henson. That's what
Yeah,
that's what
That's
Justin
funny. I didn't
said.
know. I didn't know he was talking about me. Yeah.
yeah. And then I actually worked at the rec center, and Tony started working there. And then, over the years, me and him became main snipers. And then he convinced me to sign up for state. And then that was that.
Yep. Whose
Valid,
belt did
valid,
you pull
valid.
315 in for the first time?
Yeah, my first ever 315 deadlift was in Tony's SBD belt. And I took it off and slammed it into the floor as hard as I could. I only had it like 2 weeks.
Yeah, that was back like when I was like I just got my belt and that was like the most like precious thing to me. But now it's all beat up. It's fine. You can slam the belt. It's all beat up now. But
Valid, valid, valid. For sure. And then that transition from wrestling to powerlifting, what are the similarities and differences that you brought from wrestling to powerlifting in your mindset?
Uh, a lot of it is just in wrestling, you can't get better by like not wrestling, if that makes sense. Uh, which is it sounds silly, but to get better at wrestling, you just have to wrestle more. To get stronger in the gym, you just have to work out more. Um, so it's kind of like when it comes to like accessories and all that, it's just like this is stuff that gets you better. I mean, you didn't skip sprints in wrestling, you didn't skip workouts in wrestling. So why would you skip accessories? Why wouldn't you do this? Why wouldn't you do this? Yeah, and it's just that kind of individuality in wrestling. Like you go out there in a dual meet in front of your school or a different school, I would say you got a lot of people watching you. But in Georgia, high school wrestling isn't really a popular sport, so you don't really have a ton of eyes. We have eyes on you, and it's just you and someone else out there. And it's up to you to be a better wrestler to beat somebody. It's not like in football, I can drop a pass and my team still wins, or basketball where I miss a three and my team still wins. And wrestling, like if I don't perform, I lose. It's kind of like almost the same way in powerlifting. Like on the platform, like I can't miss my squat and then Tony go out there and hit his squat and then I win my division. This is not how it works, So just an individuality, I think, has kind of hopefully helped me be a little bit of a better athlete, just because I didn't come from a team sport. While wrestling is a team sport, it's super individual based, so I don't really have to. I'll have to break that mindset where it's like my team can back me up. I still have to like put in the work and do the work to get better. But and then with that comes like the weight cutting and all that. Like I cut a little bit of weight for state. It was nothing crazy. But it wasn't anything I was scared of. I didn't have to cut anything for borough battle. I weighed in at 60 at 58.4. Ate a bagel that morning. Eli was sleeping on my couch. But yeah, I mean, same thing with Cnats. I mean, weight cutting is not going to be a dilemma anymore, or it never was. I'm light enough. I could still make probably 56, but there's no point in my opinion. There's just not many competitors at 56. Not saying there's not competitors at 56, but
No, there's hardly any competitors at 56, like
well,
numbers
well,
wise.
yeah. That's what I mean. Is the numbers like there's like some super strong guys with these six: Tyler Murrow, Aiden Cusack, Jordan Howard. Like, there's some really strong guys at 56.
Yeah, no, I was just saying I don't want to throw out a number that can be completely wrong, but it's a really small number,
Well, I
like
think
nationally,
here there
people who
was
compete at 56.
14 at CNETs, and I might even be wrong on that. It might be like 11.
Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah,
12.
I mean, but think about that. How many men do you know? Like, first
Yeah,
off, that size, and then that size lifting weights for real.
yeah, and we run into that dilemma in wrestling at the 106,
Exactly.
113 weight classes. It's like, there's always talks in high school like eliminating 106. There's not many 14-year-olds plus that are 106 pounds. I was a 106-pound senior, which was crazy. I was 18 years old, 17. I didn't turn 18 yet. At 106 pounds. Um, and then like even in college, like people are like, yeah, 125. There's not a lot of grown men that weigh 125 pounds. So yeah, but I mean, there's no point in cutting to 56 because I have double the competitors at 30 at 60. I think there's 33 signed up for CNETs at 60, while I think 56 has 15 maybe. But I mean, there's some really, really strong guys at 56, but so just more at 60.
I feel you. I think like 52 had like one guy go to CNATS and win it all. And the same thing at Nats, there was like two 52s. So
Mhm.
Yeah,
that
it's just I don't remember who it was, but it's one of those. It's one of those guys really into the sport who like post all the analytical stuff, whatever. And he was a couple months ago, and they were like proposing like eliminating the smallest weight class because like that's just how few people compete in that weight class, bro. Like there's so few people that size.
Which is sad because I mean, like, it's crazy when you see guys like Tyler Murrow that are like, 120 pounds pulling like damn near 600 pounds. Like, that is insanely impressive. But it's just there's not a lot of grown men or college age men or even, teenage men that weigh sub
Nah,
130 pounds.
for sure. I mean, I was about to say, Chris, because you traveled and were with us at Raw Nats. I mean, you saw like the middleweight classes are like manlets, like they're
Yeah.
short guys. So like at the smallest weight class, what could you expect?
Hmm.
But yeah, no, that's if if you're just getting into the powerlifting and then you go to like a competitive meet, that's the number one thing you'll see is like, damn, everybody's small.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when we're walking around at Raw Nights, I'm seeing guys, you know, 82, 90s, and I'm eye to eye with them, and I'm like,
Yeah.
damn. And I'm 5'6", so I'm not tall. Let Avery say I'm 5'3", but like I'm eye to eye with these like guys, and they're fucking huge. And I'm like,
No,
dude,
I think I always exaggerate the other way because I want you to because I'm always talking about you needed to be a bigger man. I'm like, nah, Chris is like 5'9" at 60. Nah, but
Avery thinks he's taller than everybody. Don't get me started about height, bro. I'll never forget just
nah,
walking.
but Eli, unless you got something to say, Tony, do you have something to say? You kind of got you're kind of quiet over there.
No, I don't really have much to say. I mean, I just kind of want to let y'all like, yeah, I want to see where this conversation goes. So I'm good.
Okay,
Just
my
wrap
fault.
it up and send them home. Honestly, dude, that was enough right there. But
Word.
getting back into it, you talked about like you first started powerlifting at Southern. How long has it been since you actually started training specifically powerlifting?
Oh man, so I think I started training for states on like actual power. So I've always done squat and bench, but touch and go, bench, high bar, ATG squats, and then I slowly transitioned to low bar. But I think I started training for 2023 state in October, November of that year, if I had to guess.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
So
and then did
2022.
state. And then state was in February, and then got picked up by Avery late February. And I think our first block ended like early March, like mid March or something.
Hmm. And was there a moment in that, I guess that's like what, 1.5 years, where you actually like you were training, but then you started actually taking this way more serious? Was it when you got with Avery and started focusing more? Like, was there a moment where you flipped the switch to where like, hey, I want to actually pursue this and be good at it?
Probably state, I mean, seeing the guys that were like really good at it. Um, and just like I don't want to say like the clout and the recognition, but seeing like everyone like crowding around, like cheering for people lifting weights and all that, like was pretty cool. And then definitely like after state, I started I would say probably another turning point was I don't know if Tony remembers this, was me and him watching Cnats at the rack. Uh right when I think it was the 56 and 60s were going, because we watched like a couple people that were like 56, 60 bench like almost 300 pounds. I think we watched Tyler Murrow pull something crazy.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool. I was like, wow, like these guys are my size on this like national stage, like pulling like crazy weights. And I was like, all right, I mean, let's go for a little run and see what happens. And then I guess I kind of had it set that I wanted to qualify for CNATs, and now we're here.
Yeah. So backtracking a little bit, I think I want to ask, because nobody really knows this, but like it wasn't like a super seamless like to get Chris to do this state meet, it was difficult. Like it was hard to convince him to do that. So um whereas I think everybody else kind of just like, like whatever, I'll do it. Like it really did take some convincing from Chris. So what do you think was that moment that was like you were like, okay, I'll do it. I'll do powerlifting. Cause at one point, yeah, you were in the gym consistently, but you just didn't care to compete. You were a college kid. What a lot of people are like that. I think that's how most people in college are. They go train and they work out and they're kind of relaxed with it, but they don't want to take that extra step, actually get into a sanctioned competition, you know, and kind of put themselves out there to the public and in the actual umbrella of a real sport or powerlifting. So,
Yeah,
what do you
well,
think kind of made you?
I think it comes from just so I spent, a good chunk of high school wrestling, and then I spent my first year of college wrestling. And it was always like I wanted to wrestle, I wanted to wrestle. I didn't want to lift weights to compete in lifting weights, I wanted to wrestle. I didn't want to go play football, I wanted to wrestle. Well, I didn't want to do this, I wanted to wrestle. So it was so like I want to wrestle, I want to wrestle, I want to wrestle. And it's like if I can't wrestle, I don't want to compete. Now finally like I was enjoying, the college life, doing my thing, not competing in wrestling. And it was just like, wow, this is kind of nice. Like being laid back and chill, not having to worry about being competitive. And then I can't really pinpoint like a specific moment or whatever, but it's like, look, you always work out. Like you develop that habit from wrestling. You can't wrestle anymore. You know what I mean? Like your school doesn't have a club team. You're not on a college team anymore. Um, find something else you can compete in. And then, powerlifting is one of those sports where it's like you got guys that are on college teams doing it. You got guys that aren't on college teams doing it. You get guys that aren't even in college doing it. High school kids, even younger in high school. So it's just like I can't really pinpoint a pivotal moment, but it was definitely just like it was like, why not? You like being competitive. Why not compete in something you already do daily?
No, I think that breaks it down to like a lot of people because I would say that actually like y'all are benefited because of Fit Statesboro down there and Equal Power or like well y'all made Equal Power first off that little community because bro I think it's for most people it's just hard to get people to convince people to sign up for a meet unless you're stupid absurdly strong
Mhm.
or something like the person I think who absolutely benefited the most is because Nigel used to live with me, but I don't know if Nigel would have ever competed in a meet for real if he did not go down there to Statesboro and see y'all doing it, and then there's a community out there because yeah most people like yeah like it's such a stupid mindset, but it's like I'm not gonna compete until I'm strong enough, and that's
Yeah,
how most people think about it usually.
that was a lot of it. Is I was like, like I'm not strong enough. Then I saw like all my friends were signing up for the state meet, and these guys like, yeah, bro, I just started, squat, bench, and deadlifting like 2 weeks ago, and I'm gonna sign up for this meet. Then it was kind of just a reluctant like, all right, let's do it. You know what I mean? And obviously I was a 56 kg, so there was no one else in my weight class. But then when someone else signed up for my weight class, then I was like, all right, let's go be a little competitive. You know what I mean? All my friends are doing it. I'm not going to be out there alone. I'm going to have a good community. Like, let's sign up and go head to head with somebody.
Valid,
And
valid.
so you followed that dude on Instagram and put his story notifications on.
I had to. I had to. But everyone's gatekeeping now, man. So I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, everybody's lame.
So I'm doing my own gatekeeping now for Cnats. No one knows what's going on.
I'll post all your lists for you.
Right.
And then looking towards CNATs, obviously, this is why we're here. How does it feel knowing, you're almost 30 now and you're like going to be the oldest competitor at CNATs?
That is
That's crazy considering
disgusting,
Avery is sitting right
Eli.
there.
So how does that feel knowing you're going to be like the oldest guy at CNATs? Basically a grown
That
man.
is a serious question.
That's actually a dirty question.
That's the question. How's it feel?
First of all, I'm not even halfway to 30 yet, unlike Avery. But
Bro, our birth years start with the same date, basically,
they
bro.
don't. They don't. Mine starts with a two. Mine starts with a two. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a bit of a like a dang. I wish I gotten this a little bit earlier and would have went. You know what I mean? When I was younger. And then there's also like my grad program does end in the fall. So it's like wow, this is my actual only run at CNATS. Um, and I'm still a junior age wise, believe it or not. But like after, my grad program's up, like I'm gonna be 24, I'm gonna be in the open. So it's like, wow, this is kind of my last run at a junior collegiate, like my last and only run really at a junior slash collegiate nationals type event.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. It's like there's some regrets. Like, man, I wish I, kind of came in, did this a little bit earlier. But at the same time, too, it's like, well, there's no point in looking back. You might as well just make the most of it and, you know, work with what you got. You know what I mean? You're dealt these cards and you might as well play them instead of being like, oh man, you know what I mean? There's no point. If I was part of them 3 years ago, then maybe, but not. It's like, you know what I mean? I signed up for it. I'm gonna go out there and be as competitive as I can put myself into a spot to be.
And for sure, that
No,
kind of
yeah,
leads us
there's nothing you
into
can do about it. I just can't believe Eli's such an
That was
asshole.
nuts. That was
Yeah, no, like I'm glad like y'all are obviously friends because that was crazy, Eli.
but yeah, that leads
Yeah.
us in kind of into our next point. Like, what does actually competing at collegiate nationals, a national level meet, what does it mean to you to know you're on a level to be at nationals where there are people who can't make it there?
it's pretty cool, man, because that was what I always wanted in wrestling. You know what I mean? I only made it to the state level in wrestling, because I was in the same boat again in wrestling. I started out so late, so I didn't have time to Go to these high school nationals, Super 32, Fargo, any of those big tournaments. Anyone that's, wrestling knows those tournaments. Never got to go to any of those because I just started out so late. And then by the time I was competitive enough to go, I graduated high school. So it's almost the same thing again. It's like, you know, but it's nice knowing I'm actually on that stage now. It's like, okay, like now you are actually at that national level that you wanted to compete at for so long, and now you're here. So feels great. I'm super fired up for it.
Mhm.
Is
And
there
then
like a well, I was just gonna say, is there like a different like level of maybe expectation or pressure that you have on yourself now that you're finally kind of achieving something that you've essentially kind of wanted to do ever since you were in high school? Like you finally kind of made it to that national, platform in a sport, and you get to go against 30 competitors. I don't know about wrestling, but I'm assuming this is like one of the bigger, you know, 30 people in your weight class. I don't know if that if that was how it was in wrestling for you, but um, do you have any sort of like pressure, like kind of expectation on yourself going into this meet?
Not. I mean, obviously, it's one of those things. Like, those are your first nationals. You're not going to win your first nationals. Yada yada. Some of that there's truth in that. There's some of that like I don't like going into a meet like knowing that you're not gonna win it. I mean, obviously the number one spot is relatively far out of reach, so there's a little bit of less pressure on that front where it's like I'm going out there just to have fun, but at the same time too like to me that is the fun part is seeing how far I can propel myself into that roster. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, the highest, or I guess the lowest number I can get next to my name is the best. So um but I don't know, I feel like in wrestling I've always been good about just having fun in the moment and like seizing the moment. And I never really let pressure build up on me. Like that's kind of the fun part is you got a lot of eyes on you. So I don't really have any like expectations or like serious pressure that I'm putting on myself. I mean, I do in the sense of like I want to hit my lifts, want to maximize my total and place as high as possible. But I don't know, like that's the fun part to me is going out there and competing and being on that stage with those guys.
Mhm. For sure. And are there any like expectations you have for CNATs that would be different than where you've competed so far? Something you're looking forward to that is going to be a big change from state to the borough battle.
I mean, I definitely want to place top 10. I think that's the one of my like goals that I want to set out for. That's different than borough battle, different than state. In both of those competitions, I didn't even have 10 people in my weight class. Now I have 33, 34. So definitely want to be top 10. Definitely want to be in that top 10 conversation. I guess the biggest like battle for me personally is I want to be the best collegiate lifter in Georgia. I'm not totally sure of how many we're sending from Georgia, but I want to place the highest of any Georgia lifter in within 60.
Oh, okay, but I say I'm there. So
Yeah, I was about to say let me watch what I say before I start some beef.
I mean, you're gonna beat me
Georgia
after I
and
bomb out on
Alabama.
squats.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, really, I want to be the best lifter in the Southeast region. You know what I mean? But that's a little bit harder to quantify because it's like,
What is
I
yeah.
don't know who's all going from Florida, who's all going from Alabama, who's all going from here, who's all going from there. But I think best collegiate lifter in Georgia sounds nice, but best really like Southeastern um
60
national
kilo
competitor, I think
lifter.
so.
But outside of your own performance, is there anything you're looking forward to as far as meat production or the level of the meat? Like I know you went to nationals with the boys, you saw that type of crowd. Is any of that like you're really excited to be for you instead of being a spectator?
Yeah, I'm just really interested to see how it is behind the curtain. You know what I mean? Obviously I've competed in meets before, so I know what goes on, but like, when you get to watch it as like a fan or as a spectator, it's cool because it's like you get to see all the lights and all that. But I'm excited to be out there looking at all the people sitting out there. You know what I mean? I can't say
Mhm.
like production wise there's anything like super I'm like fired up for other than truly just to see the venue and how it's laid out and how everything goes and just how it's ran. Because I've never competed at a national level meet before, so I really want to see kind of streamline, I guess, the process is, and getting attempts in, and there's the production, the announcers, the media, the lights effects, and all that.
Now I'm
Mhm.
thinking. I mean, I've only got one national meet under my belt, but what now I'm thinking about everything's like seamless except for I remember initially like two out of my three lifters were talking about some man being able to see myself bench is really throwing me off.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how that's going to be. Exact. I think Tony said that, right? Or
I think it was Tony and Zerlot,
when they
maybe
could see
EJ too. I
himself
don't even know.
being. And I'm looking for a nice live stream, man, like with different angles. That way I don't have to spend hours editing a video. I can screen record the YouTube live stream.
I feel you for sure. And then, like overall, you don't have to give specific numbers. You can if you want, but what are your dreams for CNATs? What is your dream performance? You've mentioned top 10. You mentioned best in the Southeast. Like, what are you kind of zoned in on that's motivating you through this prep?
Oh man, hmm. I guess the biggest lift that I really want to hit at CNETs, that I think would be great would be a 100 kg bench. Because, not a good bencher, and just that round, nice 100, and go back and brag to all my friends I can, bench 225. I think would be great. Regardless, squat and deadlift, I want to pull as heavy as possible. Clearly. But I don't know, like as close to 500 as I can get. I mean, saying that, leads you to believe like, oh, he's pulling like the 480s, 490s, obviously. I'm not there, but you know, closer to 500 than closer to 400 would be nice. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not really targeting any numbers. I was for the longest like wanted like a four something squat, like a 230 bench, and like a 580 deadlift or 480 deadlift. But
I'm about to say, brother,
yeah,
hold
but obviously, you set these numbers in your head, then you get closer and closer to the meet, and then it's like, damn, that number I said was crazy. Like, my big thing for October was 440. I wanted to pull a 440 deadlift 200 kg. Then October rolled around and it was like, all right, let's pull 418. So I don't know. I try not to put too much emphasis on numbers. I have some numbers in my head that I really do want on squat and deadlift, but I'm gonna keep them in the head. I'm gonna keep them redacted. But yeah, the bench, I think a 200 kg or 100 kg bench would be sweet, but we'll see. We'll see
Mhm.
where we go.
Yeah, for sure. And then as we move kind of away from CNATs here, where do you see yourself after that performance? Leaving CNATs. It's going to be a harder question, like because you don't know, Powerlifting America, USAPL,
I was about
or
to
is
say,
there
isn't
any
everybody
specific
going
meet?
Powerlifting America?
I don't really know. It
I'm not paying
really,
two memberships in a year, is all I'm gonna say.
yeah, I don't know. I don't really want to pay for another membership, so I don't know if PLA, because regardless, I'm not going to the next PLA Nats. I'm not going to the next USAPL Nats. So it's like, the next national event I have a long time for, or a little bit of time for. But when you look at like local meets wise, there's more opportunities in Georgia, to get into more, local meets than PA, just because, there's just a better foundation right now currently. So short term, probably stay in USAPL. How long that lasts can be debated. It could be a year, it could be two. I don't know. Definitely stay in USAPL. Definitely want to eventually transition to 67, 675. But again, man, the kid just has a hard time picking up the fork. Like I said, I'm still lined up to cut 56. So, yeah, I mean that's probably end goal is 67 or 66. As of right now, I don't know another what's next meet federation wise, but that's definitely probably going to be the heavier goal is to get heavier.
Mhm. And then obviously in that kind of split with USAPL and PA, there's a lot of decisions to be made. Is there anything that you could see that would bring you toward one way or the other?
It just depends on where the most competitors are. Obviously, being at 56, 60, it's a depleted weight class with not many competitors in it already. So obviously, USAPL being the bigger federation is going to have more competitors. Just
Hmm.
the way it is. However, if you know that 60, 66 or that 59, 66 kg weight class over there starts growing substantially, and that's where all the top guys, all the guys I'm going to be competing against, in 6 weeks, if all of them start making the switch, all the and if that becomes, just on average, if the totals and the dots are higher over there, I'd rather be over there. I'd rather be in the mix with those guys than, at USAPL. But again, like, it just depends, like wherever the competition goes, wherever's more competitive is where I want to be.
I feel you for sure. And then you've only been in the sport for like 1.5 years. It's gonna be hard to answer this, but is there anything in the sport that you've seen that's kind of bothered you, or anything that you would like to see change, whether it's specifically, meat production, warm-up rooms, locations, or just like the hyping up of the meat, or it could be in the community of people kind of doing things you don't like, or, certain communities doing things.
Bro, live streams, man. There is no reason a meet in 2023 should not have a live stream, in my opinion. I'm not a tech guy. I don't think setting up a live stream is that difficult. I don't think, I understand like crappy live streams where the connection cuts out. There's things that are unexpected, whatever. I don't see a reason in today where a meet should not have a live stream. And the fact that there's been multiple meets that I've been to that didn't have a live stream is really disappointing, because it's like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Then again, I don't know if that's a tactic to make more people buy the media package. It might be it, might not be it, but I don't know. I just feel like there's no need for a meet currently to not have a live stream. That's probably my biggest thing. And then, I've definitely seen people go back and forth about like playlists at meets and all that. Like the Raw Nats playlist was on like a loop for an eternity. I don't know. I just think sometimes a little bit more effort can be put into certain things, like having bumper plates in a warm up room, and having the board, with this much weight on one side is a little excessive. But I understand. At the end of the day, these gyms do put on these meets. You got to work with what you got. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for me is live streams. I don't see why meets don't have live streams. I mean, all the
Yeah.
big meets do it. Does not take that much effort to set one up, as far as I'm aware. If I'm wrong, hopefully
Yeah,
some.
no, I was just about to say, I mean, especially, most of our meets are near Atlanta, and I would really agree. There's definitely no reason not to. But yeah, I mean, other than that, the rest of the USAPL Georgia meets are usually in like a CrossFit place, and then if they're farther out, I'll I don't think anyone's responsible for recording
Yeah.
it. You know what I'm saying? That's necessary. Like I'm thinking of like a South Georgia meet, or uh, did the Savannah meet we did? Did it have a
Nope.
live stream?
Nope, did
Yeah, I was
not.
No.
about, what I'm saying? Like, if it's far out from Atlanta, I guess as of right now, we just haven't been doing that.
Yeah, I just feel like that just does more damage to the sport than it does good. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, well, while it seems little, it's a live stream. You know what I mean? But I mean, just think like,
I mean, not, I mean, that, yeah, I mean, that's, yeah, you're right to a point. I mean, think about it like, for people in this state of Georgia who tune into Power, I mean, because of the Savannah meet not having a live stream, you missed out on Tev's performance.
yeah,
And
Mhm.
other than Nats, that's the last time he's performed, and he was banged up at Nats, type stuff.
yeah. I mean, and then like, just think like, you get a kid from the Atlanta area that's going down and is competing. He can get all his high school buddies or all his friends to watch his live stream if they can't make it. I mean, it might inspire them to, or like a guy that, can't afford the media package or something, can't get his family to go down there. They'll have footage and get to watch him live. His family can watch him live. I mean, I don't know. I just feel
Mhm.
like growth of the sport needs exposure, and not
Yeah.
having live streams at meets is just counterproductive, because then you got to rely on people buying the media package, you got to rely on people recording themselves. If your family can't make it to the meet, well, your family doesn't get to watch you lift.
Yeah, for sure. I
Hey,
mean, the
well,
biggest issue with the live streams is not like the media people, it's the people who select, the venue. It's
Mm,
because like you got people who try to do a live stream and then they get hated on for it being so glitchy because they can't get connected to a good network. So it's ultimately it goes back to not having meets in these CrossFit gyms, these smaller areas. Because like even the borough battle, like I tried, kind of swing a live stream in there and tried to like get on the commentary for that, but they just didn't trust the Wi-Fi, and they're just scared of the bad feedback from that affecting, their overall meet because you don't they think better no live stream than a bad live stream, but we just
Yeah,
need better
and
selection of
it's
venues.
really hard to get a quality venue anyway because most places are gonna not give you a good rate when you're like, hey, I want to have a powerlifting meet here.
Yeah.
They're not except for like that one high school be giving out deals to us apparently that when we have their meet there. So
No, I guess I could see like meet directors and gym owners and stuff thinking like a shitty live stream is gonna give more negative outlook on the meet than a no live stream. But I feel like that's literally just counterproductive, or I feel like that's the opposite. Or me personally, like no live stream to me is a worse look for a meet than just a crappy live stream. Like network issues
Yeah.
happen all the time, things go wrong. But I would rather know like okay, like these meet directors went above and beyond to try to put this event out there for everyone to watch than just didn't even care.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I agree.
I was gonna say on a lesser note, more of like a so we're talking about getting the sport bigger outreach, getting people more into it. I was gonna ask, since it was so difficult for me to get you to do this shit, um, what would you say on like a more like individual and like personal, like person to person level? How would you think it'd be best to go about getting other, especially maybe people your age, people in college, to kind of get into the sport? Like, what do you think people, maybe it's yeah, these meets that people go and watch, or maybe these different clubs that are super inclusive and inviting, or do you think it's maybe social media driven? Do you think social media is has a huge impact on, I don't know, maybe these influencers that are kind of coming up, people like Russ that, have a huge outreach and really make this sport look kind of fun. Like, what do you think is really good about bringing like people in?
I mean, I think it's one of those things. I think it just depends really for each individual person. I think guys like Russ are great for the sport. Guys that have a whole different perspective, this whole kind of flashy, wearing chains, I mean, wearing ski goggles and stuff like that. While, a lot of people are like, oh, this is corny, this is silly. Like I do believe it is good for the sport. It puts more eyes on it. It makes more people think like, okay, squatting heavy is cool. You know what I mean? Because I feel like there's still that kind of like not so much anymore, but there's still that kind of like old school look on powerlifting, whereas guys that just don't care about their diets that weigh 300 pounds that are bench pressing 400 pounds. I mean, like it's not that anymore. So when you have guys like
when you
Russ,
have guys like Sean Wees squatting in
yeah, the vision, yeah.
the vid that
I think stuff like that's like actually great for the sport. These kind of influencer guys that are popping up out of nowhere. These guys that are making their little TikTok videos of watch me work out the 755. Like I think all that's great. I think just another thing too is just building that community. You know what I mean? A community that supports each other. Like Eagle Power at State, we had like what 17 people compete or something like that, and it was like 98% of our first meets. And it was just because like a lot of that, like if you sign up, I'll sign up. If you sign up, I'll sign up. Then it's like, oh, well, four people I know, so I might as well sign up. You know what I mean? Just building that community, and then I don't know. It kind of comes, you learn in business classes now. You gotta learn like how to motivate people and stuff. Like I said, a lot of my motivation was I wanted to compete in wrestling, so I was just working out all the time because that was my like fill for my athletic journey. And then it's like, oh well, you can compete in what you're doing. I know a lot of former athletes want to compete. A lot of former football players, soccer players, whatever, they all want to compete. And a lot of them all work out. And it's like, well, hey, like you can take what you're already doing, you already enjoy, and be competitive in it. I don't know, just I think once we can knock down that barrier, that powerlifting isn't just 300-pound dudes wearing bench shirts, you know what I mean? And it's, guys across all weights, all heights, all genders. I mean, once we can break it down that it's not that, and it's guys having fun with it, wearing Vision Pros or whatever they're called, wearing chains and all that. I don't know. I think I don't know. I think it just requires more exposure and just more characters. Like I said, we need more villains. We need more guys that are going online talking shit.
Hmm.
We need more good guys. We need more crazy head to heads. I don't know. I just think yeah, I don't know. I love those guys. I think they're good for the sport, you know. Some of the stuff it's like, oh man, it's a little corny, you know what I mean? But again, I do think it's good for the sport.
That's for sure valid, valid. And then you mentioned motivation right there. What is or who are some people in the sport, upper level lifters, not anybody around here that kind of inspire you, that you tap into, you watch their YouTube occasionally, or like, you get closer to a meet and you start watching their preps and kind of get zoned in.
I don't really watch a whole lot of powerlifters, truthfully, but the two guys I watch on YouTube when they upload is Jamar Royster and Marcellus. I watch a good bit of their videos. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really follow too many powerlifters like YouTube. I follow Bork pretty closely on Instagram. I like his edits and stuff. They're pretty cool. But yeah, like definitely like training wise, it's probably like their training vlogs or whatever. It's a lot of Marcellus and a lot of Jamar Royster.
Definitely. And then looking outside of the sport, obviously coming from wrestling, you see wrestlers go to the Olympic level. You got MMA. What are some inspirations outside of the sport that you look to, those types of athletes?
Huge one guy I really like is Anthony Cassar from Penn State. Um for you guys probably don't know Anthony Cassar, but you guys might know Gable Steveson. He was multiple time national champion from Minnesota, Olympic gold medalist. Anthony Cassar, could be wrong. His first year starting for Penn State was his senior year, I believe, and he knocked off Gable Steveson twice.
Hmm.
Um, you know, what I mean, like people were like, who is this guy? He came off the bench and randomly just beat this kid that was, destined for greatness. Um, yeah, in the wrestling space, I like guys like Nick Suriano. Nick Suriano, he had a lot of setbacks. He was wrestling at Penn State, was, like the number 2 or 3 ranked guy in the nation, broke his ankle, didn't get to wrestle at nationals. Um, and then the next year, he was in the hospital like super sick, then had to go against the number 1 guy in the nation and lost to him. And then he finally got his get back and won 2 national titles, one at Rutgers and one at Michigan. And then, he went to go make an Olympic run and got COVID right before the Olympic trials. Couldn't compete at the Olympic trials. And then he just won the Pan Am Games and qualified for the Olympic trials again this year. So Nick Sherrod is a guy I really like. I look up to in the wrestling space for motivation. Bo Nickel, obviously, big MMA guy. Another Penn State wrestler. That's my team over there. It's Penn State Wrestling. Um, Really a lot of draws from Penn State wrestling. And Coach Kale Sanderson's all about having fun, but their version of fun is being dangerously competitive. I feel that's where like that kind of gets mixed up every now and again as people are like, yeah, those Penn State guys are going out there and only having fun and they're winning matches. And it's like, no, these Penn State guys, like having fun for them is winning matches. So they're gonna do whatever they can to force themselves to win matches to have fun.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel you for sure. Yeah, I mean, I follow a lot of the Penn State guys too, not as deeply as you do, obviously, but they go hard over there, man. If you watch their workouts, they're actually like I could never probably make it through a single one of them. But then looking back towards your training, what are some like you could say movies, you could say music you listen to that kind of keeps you going, gets you even if you're feeling off, you play this video, this movie, this song, and it gets you back zoned in and kind of motivated.
Oh, I'm not really a movie guy, or anything, but song wise, I actually most recently, I've been listening to Jamar Royster's playlist. Let me see what it's called. Called "Fuck Being Humble." It's got a lot of Lil Baby, 42 Doug, some J. Cole on here. It's got a lot of Jeezy. Jamar Royster's a huge Jeezy guy. There's a lot of good songs on there that I really enjoy, but definitely just anything Lil Baby, ESTG. ESTG is huge. Just play my main guy where it's like if I need a song to lock me in, just something by ESTG. Um, me and Landon talk about this all the time. I was going for all-time deadlift PR 407 or 402. I remember the heaviest deadlift I've ever pulled ever. And Landon was like, "What do you want to listen to?" I was just like, "Anything by ESTG because I know it's going to be hard no matter what we put on." And bro played like the only slow romantic song I've ever heard by ESTG. Like I thought it was like Trey Songz or like something like singing, and I was like, what? And I'm literally like 4 seconds away from like trying to pull an all-time BR, and Landon's like face is like bright red. He's like, fuck, bro, I'm sorry. He's like trying to find a different song, but yeah. You got ESTG for sure.
Can't trust Landon.
Swear, bro.
And then as we kind of wrap it up here, what are your dreams in the sport? Where do you see yourself going? You know, what are your goals to accomplish while you're here?
Oh man, you know, keep on to remind myself that this is a 10-year journey, not a 2-year journey. Avery constantly has to remind me of that as well, that you're not going to be national champion tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, in my career of sport, I want to win some big meets. I want to win some good head-to-heads. I can't really pinpoint specific meets I want to win, specific things I want to do. But I think probably the biggest thing I would love to accomplish in my whole powerlifting career is a 10 times body weight total. I think would be pretty cool. Which I don't even think that's a, you know, completely unreasonable thing within the next 5 years, but that's probably the one thing I can really hang my hat on and be like, yep, I had a 10 times body weight total.
That's crazy.
So
I
what
was I
that
was doing
said,
the I was doing the math of what
The
I would have to
660.
do, and geez.
yeah, it's easier at the lighter weights, of course. But
Yeah, I'm about to say. I mean, that's a
About
pretty like
the lightweight goal.
to make me do
yeah. I was gonna say
1,100 pounds,
most
1,100
for
keys.
most people, like you do 10 times, you're like, damn, that's that
Yeah.
shit right there.
Yeah, because I mean that would only be, you know, at 59, that'd be 590, obviously. 60, 667.5, 670, yeah, or whatever. So I don't know. But yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool because you know, that's you know, when you look at, you know, all the top guys in the weight class are putting up, you know, they're winning nationals and all that, they're hitting right at about like 10 times body weight. If not, you know, typically a little bit more.
I got you. Valid. And then our final three questions we got here. Advice to a new lifter, guy who's just getting into the sport. What are you gonna tell
Into the sport or into the gym in
him?
general?
Powerlifting in specific.
Powerlifting. Find what makes it fun and just push the hell out of that. You know what I mean? If you really like deadlifts, like we're talking a guy that's not on a program, that's not, you know what I mean, doesn't have a coach or anything, just wants to get into the sport. If you really enjoy deadlift, man, like work on all the deadlift variations you can, you know, find what makes it fun for you to keep you showing up and keep you being consistent. Like if you're doing this completely on your own and you don't want to do close grip bench, don't do close grip bench. You know what I mean? Find a variation that's more fun. Obviously, is it the most optimal? No. But if you're brand new to the sport, I think it's about finding what's fun and really just amplifying that and just turning it into a fun. That way you're not dreading going to the gym like, oh, I've got to do pause squats today. Like, no, like find something that's fun and keep doing that. And then once you have developed that routine, then you're fun. Then you can start doing the crap that sucks.
That's nice.
That's a good way to put it, I guess. And then mistakes you've made that you would warn them about. You know, something you did wrong coming through your year and a half that you would say don't do.
Um, RPE is a feel. That's probably the best way to put it. Just because you moved 375 at RP6 on week 1 does not mean you're gonna move 385 at RP7 on week 2. Mathematically, sure. Will you actually? Probably not. And
So
just being more disciplined with my food. I feel like that's kind of rooted in that as well. Like actually eating.
Yeah, controlling the variables a little bit. Yeah, I feel that. I feel like you say that a lot, but I don't know if you follow that, you know.
I dang
So,
sure
so
don't. I actually don't. I'm the biggest hypocrite when it comes to eating.
I might say, Eli, you're Mr. Half a Chipotle bowl, right?
Yeah.
hey, that was one time.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
time, but
Eli
yeah.
came down and trained with me and Tony, and he got Chipotle bowl and ate half of it. And so he's
Chris,
like, "He'd do with
Chris ate the
that."
whole thing.
Big ass man can't eat one Chipotle bowl.
Bro, my bowl was popping the seals, man. It wasn't even contained. It
Hey,
was
remember
huge.
Avery Anderson didn't finish at Zaxby's when we went to Zaxby's.
Wild, yeah.
All
Love
right,
it.
man.
Hey,
But
No
and then
reason.
Final
Hey,
question
no,
here. A technique tip.
Ooh.
You
Well, all my squats are high. My benches ain't paused, my deadlifts aren't locked out. So I don't know if I'm a good technique. The biggest thing that I think has helped my deadlift, I will say, is think of that there's a wall in front of you and your body is a book and you're opening against the wall. Um I don't really know where I remember learning that from. And then another thing was actually me and Tony talked about is when you're pulling slack out of the bar, don't think of pulling it with your arms. Think of your arms as ropes, and you're making those ropes as long as possible with as much tension in them. I don't know. That's kind of an awkward way to explain it, but definitely the bet like for deadlift is glass wall. Your body's a book opening against the wall, and then the like your arms are ropes.
Talk to him, coach.
Talk to him.
fair enough.
Yeah, DM him for coaching. He's in it now.
Swear,
And
bro.
then wrapping it up, any shout outs you want to give?
Oh man, all the guys in Eagle Power, man. Them guys are working hard. Josh there a lot. He's been, super, motivational towards me and pushed me to be better than I am. Tristan Graham, same way. Hunter Galbraith, Sean Watley. Man, the list goes on. Anyone in Eagle Power. Um, I mean, even the guys outside of Eagle Power that I watch, that I enjoy watching them guys, Jackson Evans, Lifter Jack, Easton, all the Nakama guys, even further out, like, guys like Matthew Albazadi are super entertaining to watch. Yeah,
Damn, bro,
I
just
don't
name
know, man.
everybody. No, I'm
Yeah,
playing.
well, that's things I was gonna feel bad if I left somebody out. But yeah, I
You
mean,
left out a lot of fucking people.
I know, bro.
Uh,
I'm gonna get some messages. Jacob Hickman, let me throw his name in there because I know he was gonna get hot if I didn't mention him. Jacob Hickman for sure, man. Over the summer for Burrow Battle, man, he really like taught me a lot and really pushed me. He was like my main training partner that whole summer and like, really helped me understand what it is about this sport and how to get better at it and stuff like that. So Jacob Hickman was a huge help for me getting ready for my second meet. Without him, I truthfully would have not done super well. Obviously without Avery or any of you guys, I wouldn't have done well either. But Jacob Hickman, really pushed me. He was making a lot of calls on my numbers and stuff. Really helping me out of time.
What
Valid,
about your
valid.
ups, bro? Talk about your ups.
My ops, man. We ain't gonna give them the platform, man. We ain't gonna give them the platform.
no free shout outs.
No free shout outs. Except I was
And
giving out
then
50 of them.
we got called out for not asking Kenya this, but give us a word to the ops. Speak to them right now. What should they be expecting?
Word, that's crazy, bro. I'm a nice guy, man. I'm a harmless guy. Nah, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm here to compete. You know what I mean? I'm here to compete. I'm not
I
about to
don't know,
go in.
man.
I'm
I
Just
not.
don't
say
know.
Yeah, I'm not about to go in there and mess around. You know what I mean? Any 60 kg collegiate guys in Georgia, like I'm there to I'm here. I'm there to push you, and you're here to push me, and I'm gonna be there.
yo, man, you can't cut up your deadlifts on the platform, right, Chris?
Yeah, man. Yeah, them video cuts are dangerous, man. Them video cuts are dangerous.
Yep, video cuts.
For sure, for sure.
If you know, you
And then
know.
plug your socials, plug your coach, and we'll get out of here.
Oh man, the coach Tony Henson, Eli Parker, social media is can't Avery Collins, man, that's the man with the plan. ATC powerlifting. ATC is pretty cool unless you know what the T stands for. Eagle Power on Instagram, that's the team. Can't do cardio Chris, that's the individual page. We're in the gatekeeping phase right now, so there's not too much action going on over there. It's real silent, real quiet over there for the time being, but you know, can do cardio Chris Eagle Power on Instagram at ATC Powerlifting.
Valid, valid, valid. Well, phenomenal guy on the pod. Glad you came on. Easy pod for us to do. Nice and easy to talk, but hope you all listen to the end. Peace out.
Peace.
Peace.